Good morning. Welcome to the Coffee Chat Show, folks. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I'll let you all catch up with the fact that we are live and online and starting the Coffee Chat Show. This morning, we're going to talk about how unproductive it is to worry and how toxic that can be to you. But we'll give everybody a few minutes to catch up with the fact that we are live and online. Good morning, Bailey. Morning, everybody. Happy Saturday. Okay, now this is really the last Saturday in July. Hi, Trisha. Good morning. Morning, everyone. How is everybody today? Hi, Red. Where is everybody hailing from this morning? Bright and early this Saturday. It's a little crisp here in Vermont. It's about 50 degrees, a little chilly for July. Hi, Hilda. Hi, Paul. Good morning, everyone. Let everybody catch up with the fact that we are live and online this morning with the Coffee Chat Show. Hello, Lords. Liliana. Good morning, everyone. Linda. Hello. Hello, hello. Trisha. Good morning, Lynn. Good morning, Lynn Marie. Hi, Jennifer. We've got Colorado. We've got New Mexico. We've got all kinds of places. New York. We usually have some people from overseas. We're global, folks, with the Working Single Mom and Revealing Leaders. We are actually a global show on Saturday mornings. That's kind of fun, isn't it? Who would have thunk it? All right. Good morning, Melissa. We'll start our podcast audio. So for those of you that don't know, if you miss Coffee Chat Live, you can watch the replay. We've got Canada represented here. Good morning, AJ, Helene. If you miss Coffee Chat Live, April, you're in Vermont. I'm in Vermont. It's a little chilly here this morning, isn't it? We've got New Jersey. Hi, Lucy. Hi, Emma. Okay. So if you miss Coffee Chat Live, you can, yes, we do have Instagram, Emma. It's Revealing Leaders. If you folks need to find us on any other platform, it is Revealing Leaders. So it's at Revealing Leaders. We are on Twitter. We are on Instagram. We are on Pinterest. We have a channel on YouTube. You can find everything. Right now, we're still using the workingsinglemom.com as our main site because we are building a Revealing Leaders site. And if I didn't have full-time clients and jobs, we probably would have had the site built. However, this is, as you know, if you follow me and you watch me, this is my side thing. This is my give back. This is what I do for fun and to help people. I do have two companies, one which I own and one which I am the CEO for. I'm the founder and CEO for a digital marketing and solutions company called Fortunato Partners, and I am the CEO of a recruiting and workforce development company called Delta Hire, as well as I am the director of project management for a large law firm in Miami. So I do lots of different things. This Revealing Leaders and the workingsinglemom.com, all of that is my give back. We have shifted from the Working Single Mom into Revealing Leaders. We are going with the fact that you are the leader of your life, and we are starting to talk more about what that means. And to that end, as I was saying, if you missed the live show, you can catch us on the replay here on our Facebook page. In a few days, it will be up on our YouTube channel. So a few days after the live, they get put on our YouTube channel. We record the live raw audio, which I'm doing right now, and that goes up on our podcast channel. So you have lots of different ways to catch the show if you cannot be with us this early in the morning on a Saturday. So that being said, oh, we have the Bahamas. Hello. And we have North Carolina. All right, so I know that all of you probably worry, right? Because that is something that pretty much everyone in this culture does. You worry, and then when you dwell on what you're worried about, it causes you sometimes to like panic, and then it gets worse, and it kind of snowballs, and then you're mortal monkey mind gives you more things that you should be worried about. And so what ends up happening is you create this cloud around you. And I use the example of the Peanuts character Pigpen, who always walked around with a dust cloud over his head. And that is what you are doing to yourself when you are panicking, when you are worrying, when you are reacting. Good morning, Kim. One of my best friends from high school is on here. Also, Tracy is with us this morning. Tracy's always with me. She works with us on Revealing Leaders, and she kind of monitors and drops links that are helpful while we're talking. So this is what happens. In the regular, normal world, if you are not doing any self-development work, and if you are not looking to see how you can grow as a human being, you are basically just a big ball of reaction, right? You're just reacting to whatever is coming at you all the time. You're not taking time for yourself. You're not taking a breath. You're not responding. You're just reacting. Over the past few weeks, we've been talking about taking time to bookend your mornings and evenings to get yourself focused. I encourage you to go back and watch like the last 3 coffee chats, because we talk a lot about respond versus react, and we talk a lot about bookending your days and different topics like that. Coffee chat is progressive, so we often will reference what we've spoken about in the past. And as I said, you can go and access the coffee chats from probably the last 3 years are on the Facebook page, and most of those have made it now to YouTube. We're still working on getting a lot of the old historic ones set up on YouTube, on our YouTube channel. So in the normal culture, when you are not working on personal development and you're not working on yourself, and you're just sort of like at effect of the world and at effect of your life, you are just pinging, right? Whatever's happening, you're a reaction. You are worrying. Angie! You're worrying, you're pinging, you're reacting. Nothing good is happening there, just FYI, okay? When you don't take control of your thinking, when you don't take control of your attitude, you cannot control all the outside circumstances that are around you. You can't even control all of the stimuli that affect you. However, what you can control is this right here. You have ultimate control over that. And if you can learn to control this and shift your thinking and shift your attitude and use the tools, okay, if you can learn to do that, you can have better circumstances that arise. There's my sister-in-law. Hello, Rosie. Good to see you. Hi, Victoria. So you have everything to do with the way that your life turns out. And this is one of the reasons that we shifted our title to Revealing Leaders, right? Another reason is because my son is now 20. He's grown. He's running my other company with me. And I also got married at the end of 2019. So the working single mom label, which was my personal persona publicly, just didn't feel completely authentic anymore. So we changed our label to Revealing Leaders. And this is because I want to be talking to you guys about tools that help you to have the life that you want. Because you are the leader of your own life. And often people are in their lives and they don't recognize that they have everything to do with the way that things turn out. They just are at effect of what's happening, and they think that that's the best that can happen. And that just is inaccurate. We have New Zealand represented this morning. Good morning. So you have everything to do with the way that your life turns out. You are the leader of your life. And to that end, you can control your response to things, you can quell your reactions to things, and you can change your thinking in any moment, which changes your vibration, which changes what you attract, okay? I'm sure you've all heard of the law of attraction. That's a real thing. And basically what it says in a nutshell is that the way that your energy is, the way that you're vibing, and the things that you're thinking and dwelling upon, you will bring more of those things to you. So when you worry, and you dwell on what could happen or what might happen, like as if you had nothing to do with it, and then you go, I call it down the rabbit hole of thinking like, oh my God, this, that now you're gone, right? Whew! See ya. There's no chance of like helping you to control. Once you feed into that and you went down the rabbit hole, it's a hell of a lot harder to get you out of there. So I want to talk this morning about how to avoid getting down there in the first place. You have to recognize that what you concentrate on in your mind is actually what you will create and bring to you. So I like to use the example of a checkbook or bank account balance, because a lot of people have fear and reaction when it comes to money and their prosperity. So let's use that as an example this morning. If you are, it's the first of the month tomorrow. So perhaps you are looking at your bank balance, or you are looking at, the income for the month, and you are looking at your bills, and perhaps it looks like you don't have enough to take care of what you need to take care of. Now, in the material monkey mind world, you will start to fret. Oh my God, I don't have enough money to pay my bills. How am I going to make the mortgage? How am I going to make the rent? How am I going to feed the kids? How am I going to get, okay? And then you start, right? And maybe you do this to yourself once a month. I don't know. I'm guessing that a lot of people do. And I used to do, all of the things that I teach you and all the tools that I give you, I actually use those tools. I actually practice and I use them. So one of the tools that we talk about to combat and control your thinking is the index card tool. And I believe that is like 3 coffee chats ago that we really went in depth about it. What it is you remember flashcards when you were little and how you would use flashcards to learn something, okay? So what we recommend and what I sort of like invented was this thing we're calling the index card tool. And you take index cards and you get a set of, you can start with 10 affirmations. You can use more if you want to. Start with 10 affirmations that depict how you want your life to be and what you want to create coming into your life. And you write 1 affirmation on each index card, and then you carry those around in a rubber band with you all the time. And when your mind starts to panic you and you start to worry and stress, you go through those index cards one after the other, as many times as it takes. Now, 3 or 4 years ago now, when I left my position of 14 years by choice of being C-suite for a large global stock photography company that I helped to found, and I was in transition and deciding what was going to be next for me, my income obviously took a hit, and I used index card affirmations, and I also used an 8.5 piece of paper, 8.5 by 11, and I wrote out, a whole page full of affirmations. And there were days where I walked around this house, which houses my office as well, reading those affirmations over and 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 over to quell my mind, because my mind wanted to tell me like, oh my God, you won't be able to pay your bills. Oh my God, what are you going to do? Oh my God, you're going to lose your house. Oh my, okay? So I am better now. The older I get, the more adept I am at controlling my own thinking. But there isn't ever a time where you're not going to be required to do that. There isn't ever a time where you're never going to think a thought that's anti to what you want to create. It just doesn't work like that. Life is progressive and it's a lot of work. It's constant progress. It will get easier to stop yourself from going down the rabbit hole. I highly doubt that you will ever be at the place where you never have a thought that could turn into a worry fest, truthfully. So what happens when you worry is you start creating this whole energy around you of all the possibilities that could make things worse, right? You start with the whole thing. And then you kind of feed into that because you start panicking a little bit, and now you're worrying more, and now you're like, oh my God, well, if I can't pay the electric bill, I'll shut the electricity off, and oh my God, if I don't have food money, I can't, okay? So one thought, which is to say you look at the bank balance and you look at the bills and you think, oh, maybe I don't have enough, turns into a whole thing. Somebody just said worry is a human thing. It is, but it doesn't have to be. Don't you understand? You don't have to worry. You don't have to feed into that. You get to choose. You choose what you think about. You choose the thoughts that go through your mind. You do. You're the leader of your life. You choose what happens next. As far as what you think about what happens next, what you tell yourself about it, and what you think about it and what you tell yourself about it actually brings it to you. Don't you get it? The more you give into, it's not like you're not going to have a fear-based thought. It's not like the worry thought is not going to present itself. You get to choose whether you go down that track. Laura's pointing out you have to be intentional. Exactly. You have to be vigilant about your thinking. You have to be vigilant about the thoughts that are coming into your head and whether or not you're inviting them in for tea or coffee and a scone, okay? You can have a thought and simply say, not today, stand over there, not interested. You don't have to give further energy to that fear-based thinking. You get to choose. A lot of people go around in their life and they act like they have nothing to do with what's happening to them. You are the creator of your circumstances, as Tracy is pointing out. Laura pointed out that you have to be intentional. You have everything to do with what happens next. Okay? I will give you an example from my own life just this week. In the past, if I got a letter from a taxing authority about one of the companies, before I even opened the letter, I would start a whole thing like, oh my God, what can this be? Or what blah, 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 all right? Now, as I said, as I get older, I'm going to be 53 in a month, actually, in about a month. And as I get older and I've been practicing these types of principles and working with affirmations and all of this since I was 12 years old, and I'm now 53. So the older I get, the better I get at this. All right? So I get a letter from a taxing authority. It's pertaining to one of my companies. And I just said, oh, I wonder what this is, okay? And I would say probably even 2 years ago, I would have been making up a whole thing in my mind. Now I open the letter and it says that they didn't receive a payment on something, which I know we made. So I called my CPA, I scanned them the letter, and they told me, I need to call the taxing authority, which I don't know how many of you are dealing with anything right now with taxing authorities, but everyone is so backed up because of COVID. So to imagine that you'll get someone on the phone, so they actually said on the phone, please email us, go here and use this email address and whatever. So I scanned the whole thing and I, scanned the thing from my bank that showed that we made the payment and all that. And so I emailed them, and I have learned, I've taken the Dale Carnegie course, and I also try to practice kindness, and I try to bless and, have a positive attitude about taxing authorities, about paying tax, all of that. I actually send a thank you note when I pay my estimated taxes. Maybe somebody else does that, but I have learned that what I put out there is what I will create and what I get back, right? So I'm grateful. I'm grateful for the opportunity to have my own businesses. I'm grateful for the opportunity to pay taxes. I'm grateful. So when I wrote the note in the email, I was very, I was very kind. I was very, okay, we have a creeper. Alrighty then. I was very kind, and I was very much like, here's the letter that I got. I do believe we paid this. I've included this. Please tell me what I need to do. If we do owe something else, please let me know that. I appreciate your help so much, blah, blah, blah. My CPA said, oh, good luck with that. You'll know, good luck with them answering you. I wish you luck. And I thought to myself, well, I'm just going to intend that they do answer me quickly. The very next morning, I got a very nice email back from the corporate division of the taxing authority that was very kind and asked me just for some further clarification from the bank, in which I sent them. They then sent me a note back and said they cleared it all up and they were sending me a letter. And, they thanked me very much and I thanked them. So I'm telling you this because I consciously changed my thought process the whole way through that. Couple of years ago, I probably would have agreed with my CPA, thought maybe it would take forever to get a response. I probably would have made the taxing authority, wrong because they're so backed up. Like, I probably would have done a lot of things. And even just a few years ago, I still have been practicing for a very long time working with this type of stuff. However, in the last several years, I have upped my practice, and as I've been out here teaching you guys all these things, I have renewed my commitment to following these things in my own life so that I can share these types of stories with you. So something that could have potentially caused me a lot of worry, stress, and strain, I consciously reframed it. I consciously was grateful and thanked the people ahead of time and was very kind to everyone involved. And it got resolved within 24 hours. And I got the letter yesterday in the mail saying, thank you very much. It's all been resolved. We found the payment right away. No problem. My point is, you have everything to do with the way that it turns out. Had I made a big deal in my mind about that, had I spent hours worrying about what possibly could happen or whatever, I promise you that wouldn't have been as easy as it was. Okay? You have the opportunity to change your life. Every day you have that opportunity. You have the opportunity to change your thinking and your behavior and your response in any moment, with any circumstance, with any person, with any situation. You hold all that power. You are the leader of your own life. You can make the call however you want it to be. Nobody else does that for you. Only you can do that. The more you complain and bitch and whine about how your life isn't the way that you want it. Lisa's asking a question. Hold on, Lisa. But what happens in a case where you demonstrate such behavior as you spoke and things in the outcome still don't go in your favor and drastically crash and burn? So, Lisa, I'm quite certain that because I practiced so much and I actually spend time bookending my mornings and evenings with, positive affirmation and affirming and all of that, I've done a lot of work. So it's a lot of work. When something doesn't go the way that you want, you still have the ability to respond to it versus react. And you still have the ability to name it and frame it. So for instance, if something doesn't go the way that you want it to, and it does, to your point, quote, crash and burn, that's a label that you're putting on that. You have the ability to say, oh, that didn't turn out the way that I wanted. It seems like this is a huge problem. And I know that there must be good in here somewhere, and I will just keep affirming that the good will show itself. So I'm not saying that nothing adverse will ever come your way. I am saying that you have the ability to name it, frame it, speak about it the way that you want. Someone, I think it was Laura, said you have to be intentional. that holds true to the creation of your life as well. You can't just make a couple of affirmations and, spend a little bit of time and think that everything will change. You have spent a whole lifetime working up an energy around you and an attitude that is bringing to you everything that's coming. Good morning, Jude. I have my teacup in your honor this morning. So as you start to change your thinking and as you start to change the vibration around you, you will start to bring better things to you. You still may be receiving things into your life that you have created from adverse ways of thinking in the past. So you have to understand this is a process. This isn't an easy fix. I don't ever teach anything that's easy. And if someone's looking for, some kind of easy solution, I'm not the person to watch. I'm the first person to tell you that a practice is just that. It's a practice. And it takes time and it takes consistency. It doesn't just happen overnight. But you have to start somewhere. So when things don't go the way that you want them to go, in that moment, you have the ability to name whatever's happening. You can name it a catastrophic horror, or you can name it a learning experience, or you can name it an outcome that you didn't really want. You can still be grateful. You can still call out the good in it. Lots of times we can't see the good if we continue to affirm and be intentional about that there is good in everything and it will eventually show itself. I have never in 53 years seen a situation where it didn't show itself eventually if the people involved were consistently dedicated to calling out the good. So I hope, Lisa, that answers your question. So I encourage you this week to really watch your thinking. Watch your reaction versus response. Watch how you are behaving in your own life. You are the leader of your life. I keep saying this over and over again. You are not at effect of well, you might be right now. However, you do not have to be at effect of your life. You are at cause. The sooner you recognize that and the sooner you start to come from that you are at cause, the sooner the circumstances will start to shift themselves. So I encourage you this week to start catching yourself when you're thinking about something that is, when you're starting to think about seemingly adverse circumstances. Okay? You can also change the wording about things. You can say things like, it seems like I don't have enough money in my bank account. It seems like the car is broken down and I don't have the money to fix it. It seems like, okay, when you put something like seems or apparently, you are taking out that very definitive, it is this way. Because once you start saying like it is this way, it's like saying I am, right? It's very powerful. When you add words that keep it sort of like this, it's easier to shift it. So let's say every coffee chat, we tell people, the first 3 people to email me something will get a free swag bag, we call it. We've got some great new t-shirts and some other stuff. So let's say that the first 3 people to email me 10 affirmations that you're going to work with for the next week to change a circumstance in your life, we will send, and send your address, please. Okay, send your mailing address when you send those. So the first 3 people to email me, Tracy's going to drop my email address in the comments. You can also find it in the contact us section of theworkingsinglemom.com. You can also find it on the Facebook page. So the first 3 people to email me the 10 affirmations that you're going to work with this week to shift something that you normally would worry about and obsess about, you're going to commit this week to shifting that for yourself. And you're going to work with 10 affirmations that shift that thinking, the old way of thinking that you've had. All right? So I'm encouraging you this week to police your own thoughts. Notice when you want to get into a worry, frantic, panic circumstance, and do something different instead. Do something different instead. Okay? If you take these tools and you actually put them to work, they will work. They will. You have to actually do the work, and you actually have to be consistent, which a lot of people, don't want to do that. They don't want to do the work, and they don't want to be consistent. And you have to do that. So Sonia's got a good point here. She's saying, She's saying some people think that if they do one good thing for someone, their life will become better. You have to make it a lifestyle to be good and do good and be appreciative of what you have, no matter how little, and then everything in your life will get better. And she adds, which is this last sentence is actually a Wayne Dyer quote, which is change the way you look at things and the things you look at will change. So thank you, Sonia. You're right. That is true. Start shifting your perspective. Your perspective is everything. Your perspective says how it turns out for you. You hold the power, all of it. You do. Whether or not you choose to accept that is up to you. Like Mission Impossible, right? He gives them the mission and says, this is your mission if you choose to accept it. So your mission this week is to police your own thinking and start to shift out of that worry, panic mode that you can get yourself into. Okay? So I encourage you to start working with that, working with policing your own thoughts and starting to shift your thinking. Okay, so you can still visit us at theworkingsinglemom.com. We have a newsletter, which will actually be a Revealing Leaders newsletter, which will start coming out again sometime in September. And you can find us on Instagram and Pinterest and Twitter, as well as YouTube. We have a channel there. You can watch all the past coffee chats on our Facebook video page. You can also find them on the YouTube channel, and you can also catch it on the podcast. So we'll say goodbye to our podcast folks now. And Facebook fam, we'll see you next week. Have a fantastic week and happy August. See you soon.